Hello, my name is Michael Fiore, and I am the fourth generation of Smith's Gardentown here in Wichita Falls, Texas. Now, before we go inside and start looking around, I wanted to tell you what I think makes us unique here at Smith's Gardentown. First of all, I think it is the size of our facility. We are sitting on 26 acres here, and we are a grow facility and retailer all in one. We've got a huge green space out front with ponds and landscaped areas, and we have a full service stone yard and a concrete plant. So we've got a lot to offer here. Let's go take a look around. Smith's Gardentown was started way back in 1949 in my great-grandfather's backyard. We then had a couple of different locations throughout the years, and in the 70s, this was our growing farm that was separate from our retail facility. But back in 2000, we decided to move the retail facility out here too, and that's why our sign says Smith's Farms out here. Now, when you walk into the store, you're gonna see decorative items on either side of you. We want that to catch your eye right as you walk in. And then you've got a bit of a crossroads as you reach the registers. So if you head this direction to the right, you're going to be going into our tropical greenhouse with our houseplants. To the left is gonna be trees and shrubs. And if you continue going straight, you're gonna run right into our annuals and perennials in our bedding greenhouses. Now, I want to show you our registers because we redesigned this area a couple of years ago to make it easier. We actually made this cut through so that the cashiers can just step right through, scan everything, and ring up the transactions without having to walk all the way around the counter area. We also included in this setup a stairway where the cats can go up top, and they'll actually walk across this bridge up here above the registers, which is always fun for everyone as they're in here in the store. And then also what we did is we put merchandise everywhere. So we'll oftentimes see that people are coming in, and as they're ringing up, they'll be grabbing gloves, their kids will see something that they like, and it just helps us to do those add-on sales. Here's another change that we've made in the past couple of years. We used to have our chemical section right up next to the front door. So when people would walk in, it was the first thing they would see and smell as they walked through the doors. And that's not something that we wanted to project as the first impression when you walked into the store. And we actually got this idea whenever we went to Cultivate a couple of years ago, and we saw that most of these other garden centers, they actually had beautiful and inspiring things as you walk into the door, and that's really what we're about. And while we can't get rid of this section completely, we can move it farther away where that it's not the first thing you see when you come through the doors. Another thing that we really like is we have our different potting soils up above this door near the register with our prices on there. So that way when people ask about potting soil, we can easily just tell them to turn around and look at these different prices, and they can pick which one they need, and we'll help them load up, of course. Here's something else that's pretty unique about our store. We actually have a store within a store. So we have a Wild Birds Unlimited franchise here taking up part of our showroom. And I'm gonna turn this over to Dave, who's our manager of this section, to tell you a little bit more about Wild Birds Unlimited.
Thanks, Michael. So Wild Birds Unlimited helps people who are already spending a lot of time in your backyard. You're doing plants, trees, shrubs, flowers, all of the things that attract birds. We take that a step farther with bird feeders, the poles to hang them on if you don't have a tree branch to hang it from, great bird seed that'll attract a wide variety of birds. We've also got bird baths, especially handy in the summer months. Everything you need to keep moving forward in your backyard to turn it into a sanctuary for yourself and for the birds. We bring people and nature together at Wild Birds Unlimited.
Here's something you don't want to miss when you come to the store. We have our tropical houseplant greenhouse out here, and it's something that you really got to see because right in the middle of it when you walk out the door is our beautiful display pond that houses our huge koi that are always ready to eat some snacks. And this is a favorite for every family that comes in here. Every kid just immediately gets drawn in here. They climb up on here, they're looking at the fish. Now our display pond is right next to our pond plant section and our pond supplies that we sell here in the store. So if you want to come over here and take a look at these beautiful water lilies and other plants that we sell here, we get a lot of business of people with water gardens and koi ponds. And I mean, how would you not want to buy that whenever you see that flower blooming? Here's another thing that people really love. Besides having beautiful tropical plants available year-round here in this section, we also have let some of these plants grow to more mature sizes, like this Ficus benjamina, which is well over 15 feet tall and 20 feet wide and provides us with beautiful shade here in the tropical greenhouse. And this year we actually built new bathroom spaces out here, which was expensive, but it has been super well received because there's no longer a line to go to the bathroom, especially in peak season when we have so many people in here. This has really relieved a lot of people by having this available. Now, here in Texas, once we get past the middle part of June, our season really starts dropping off. So we don't have as much plant material in here as we do during April and May, which are our two biggest months. But this area right here is what we call our flower tunnel. Right now, it's more of a fern tunnel because we've sold out of our big, beautiful hanging baskets and replaced this area with our Boston ferns that we still have in stock. Now, our bedding plant area is set up kind of like a grid. We've got big main aisles where people to travel on, and then we have side aisles to access all of the different plants. And we try to divide it up by a shade-loving section, and then the rest is going to be our sun and heat-loving plants. Back in our growing facility, we actually grow about 90% of all of the annuals, perennials, vegetables, and pot plants that we sell here in the nursery. Here we are in our perennial area, and it is looking extremely nice and full and beautiful because a lot of these plants are really good for our region and they love this hot weather that we're having right now. If you're anything like us, keeping signs on everything is a huge challenge, but we do print them here in-house, and it's something that really allows these plants to kind of sell themselves whenever our associates are tied up helping other customers. And so we try to keep it informative. We like to have prices on things and varieties that will show a description of what that plant is. It's Texas and greenhouses are super hot, so we make sure that we have swamp coolers and fans to make sure that we've got moving air and shade to try and keep our customers and staff a little bit more comfortable. We try to keep shopping carts on hand because a lot of people walk in, they don't grab them off the front of the store, and so it's good to have them available at different parts in the greenhouse. That way, if they feel like they need to buy a little bit more than what they intended, it makes it easier for them to grab more. And as you step out of our annual area, you're going to step into an area that's full of vegetable plants. And then beyond that, you're going to see ground covers and then ornamental grasses towards the other end of the greenhouse. Now we're back in the front near the registers, and we're going to head out into our shrub area, followed by trees. Another fun thing we added this year is one of our talented staff members painted a few of these panels that are interactive where you can take photo ops as you are walking around the store, such as this one that features our lovely cats and a few plants. Now, right in the center of our shrub yard, we've got this really cool stacked slate urn fountain display that we actually sell this model here in the store, but it also shows people what it would look like when it's all set up and just makes for a nice ambiance out here in the shrub yard. Now, around it, we've got different winding paths that are going to separate the different areas of the shrub yard. And once again, we have separated that into shade-loving shrubs versus our sun-loving ones out here in this area. Another thing worth mentioning is in our annuals, perennials, and ground cover area, basically everything that are smaller pots, we do have fertilizer injectors hooked up so that way we are fertilizing as we water, so that way they don't run out of food before we can sell them. Now, out here across this gravel road from the shrub yard, we actually built some extra tall greenhouses that have a 15-foot gutter height, and those are going to be for our trees, so we can move them all in the wintertime and have a really nice display area for them still, and it just allows us to have a little bit more room for them to grow. Now, for our larger trees, we're talking 30, 45, 95-gallon trees. We're actually putting those on collars and on steel cables to keep them from blowing over in these brutal North Texas winds. Now, this part right here looks really boring, but to me, it's really interesting. So this is our dividing line between retail and growing. So the greenhouses on this side of me are all our retail greenhouses, whereas these are our grower greenhouses. But more importantly than that, this is our rainwater catchment system. So we actually catch rainwater from all of these greenhouses, which then flows down the gutters into this alleyway, which then goes into a collection basin right here, which will pipe all of that rainwater up to our retention ponds out front in the green space in front of our store to keep those ponds full. All right, now let me show you where the magic happens. This is our grow facility. So through here, we're gonna be growing all of those beautiful plants that you saw up front and then taking them just the 20 feet right across the alleyway to those beautiful retail greenhouses. I'm standing right now in an 18,000 square foot range, which is about to be filled up with our mums. We've recently cleared it out. We're in the process of cleaning and sanitizing before the next crop, but we previously had our geraniums and other spring plants in here, and mums are right around the corner. We have multiple different ways of watering plants in here. We have drip tubes for our hanging baskets, which will hang on these rails. And then we also have drips for each table that are also controlled by separate valves for a little bit more controlled watering. And here we have another 18,000 square feet with moving benches and the last of our spring crop in here that we're going to clear out and make room for our poinsettias, which we grow here. We do about 10,000 poinsettias every year on site. Here at Smith's, we love our grow facility. We love being able to control our own plants and the quality and the timing of everything that we grow. And it certainly keeps us busy because during traditionally slower months of retail is when we're actually really busy here in the back doing production. So in January, when it's miserable outside and no one's up front buying, we're actually planting a lot of plants back here, and it's a very busy and exciting time to grow. Now, about 5 years ago, we actually added a stone yard to our facility, and it is a big one. So we do all palletized stone and bulk materials. So we've got cobblestone, gravel, flagstone, builder stone for houses, chopped stone, sawn edges, and then we have a ton of different bulk options, including mulch, sand, gravel, compost, and a lot more. And what we've found since adding this to our repertoire is that we're more of a one-stop shop for those contractors and landscapers. They were already coming in to buy the plant material from us, but now they're buying stone to do borders, they're building outdoor patios and projects and fountainscapes and ponds, and they're getting everything from us here and being able to fully complete their projects. And if all of that wasn't enough, last year we decided to add a concrete mixer to our store. And this is actually small batch concrete where people can bring their own pickups here, hook onto our mixing trailers, and then we mix the amount and type of concrete that they need, and they can haul it off and take care of their projects. Now, this is a pretty cool and sophisticated piece of equipment behind me. And so we have Portland cement in that tall silo, and then you'll see two smaller hoppers that one of them has gravel and the other one has sand. It's all hooked up to electronics and water. We go over to the computer system, tell it how much and what strength of concrete we need, and then it just spits out the correct amount into those really cool trailers that the contractors absolutely love. So now that you've seen all of that, what's next for Smith's Gardentown? Obviously, we're not scared to invest and grow and try new things. So we're actually going to be working on both ends of our property. Starting back here in the back, these are some older greenhouses that we used to use back when we did wholesale growing. And now we're going to have to rehab those and rebuild them in order to get them ready to increase production for our own retail store here. And out in this beautiful green space out in front of the store, I've got some big plans. So we're planning on putting in beautiful interactive garden spaces out here, fruit trees, veggies, cut flowers, display gardens, things that are going to inspire people as they're able to walk through these beautiful pathways and then see what they want to recreate at their own homes. Thank you so much for joining along today and checking out our place. I know I love going to go see places such as yours too, and I can always learn a lot from visiting other garden centers, and I hope you have today as well.